Okay, looks like we may have a couple drivers bugged. Kuko, Sully, Bullet, and Markman are all disconnected. Oh, there we go. I did just recently get the Xbox Series S, and I think this is actually using like the lighting is much better. I think they are using ray tracing here. It's actually kind of nice. And actually, I do think like 4 or 5 people got disconnected. That's not good. So checking in, it looks like Diego is connected, albeit under control of AI actually. But Bullet's disconnected, Mertman's disconnected, Sully's disconnected, Kuglo's disconnected as well. And looks like Fiber was disqualified. Um, he may need to do a lobby restart if that many drivers are disconnected. Okay, yep, that's official confirmation. We are going to be getting a lobby restart. So we will be able to resume soon enough, but first, what? We had a few cars going off. They aren't worried. It's fine. It's gonna be a lobby restart anyways. Might as well have a little bit of fun with it, right? But anyways, since we're gonna be doing a lobby restart, we'll be back momentarily. And as long as we're waiting in between this and the rest of it being reloaded, might as well go through a little bit of information for the real life Spanish Grand Prix, which will be starting the free practice sessions tomorrow. So, for a little bit of interesting information, in terms of car upgrades, Ferrari's getting a new wing. Aston Martin is getting a new. They're getting new full side pods, as well as front wing and rear wing changes. McLaren is getting new brake ducts, along with some other things. Mercedes has gotten a new. I think they're getting a B-spec chassis with a different set of side pods. Their underbody parts have been changed a little bit. It's gonna be interesting. Oh, and just an extra little side note and fun little F1 news. David Croft and Williams team principal Yas Capito have dyed their hairs red this weekend. That's actually kind of nice. And actually, the Aston Martin side pods are distinctly similar to the Red Bull ones. I will say this though. People are already making jokes calling it the Green Bull. But to be fair though, the designer that created it was a former Red Bull racing employee. I think he was the technical head. I may be completely wrong about that. And oh, looks like Alfa Romeo is getting an upgrade package as well. Ferrari, I already mentioned they got a new rear wing. It's gonna be interesting to see. And actually, the Aston Martin has stripped away even more of its lovely British racing green paint in exchange for that pure carbon fiber to save even more weight. And people are already making jokes. Aston Martin or Red Bull Racing. Yeah, looks like it's taking a little bit longer than I thought. Hopefully we'll be able to rejoin soon. Oh, there we go. While we're here, unsurprisingly, Carlos Sainz has gotten a special helmet design for his home race. I gotta say, it's not bad. I don't know how to feel about it. It is nice though. But Mercedes has gotten a new floor. Oh, and for those Haas fans, by the way, unfortunate to say, while nearly every single team is bringing upgrades, Haas will not be bringing any upgrades to Barcelona this weekend. They said they are going to be waiting for about 4 or 5 races before they bring in their upgrades. So expect Haas to drop off by a good margin, but plenty of teams have brought upgrades. Aston Martin, Mercedes have probably been the most significant in terms of upgrades. Aston Martin has gotten to basically a B-spec chassis, and the side pods are very, very similar to the Red Bull side pods. Which, you know, that's not a bad idea because the side pods that they had before, they were very, very massive, and I think the change alone is probably going to save them a good bit of weight. It'll be interesting to see how the order changes going into this weekend. But first, we are going to have a race starting once again. Hopefully it'll work this time. Alright, I think everybody is successfully in now. We should be getting ready for a pretty interesting race. And of course, due to it being the full race after a sprint, it's going to be free tire choice across the entire field. So I think we're going to see a good variety of strategies. Alright, here we are now, getting ready for the full 50% race. So while we're here in the formation lab, let's take a look at the entire strategy. Oh wait, no, never mind, I guess we're getting right underway. Never mind, I thought that was information lab. I guess we're going to get started with racing, and Diego is going to be eyeing up a move on the inside of Pyrex. Manages to succeed for a moment, but Pyrex is going to fight it back here. Looks like Diego does get ahead. I was a little bit unprepared for that one. Viper, meanwhile, gets ahead. Looks like McLaren's going to be struggling in the back as well as Red Bull. Meanwhile, Napalm and Gary go wheel to wheel. And it's going to be close here as Pyrex is having to defend on the outside. And he will remain ahead. Meanwhile, Kuklo, he's gone on the track into the wall. Kuklo is miraculously intact. But he'll need to get a new front wing. I'm amazed. I thought he'd be out of the race. That surely would have destroyed his wheel. He got very lucky there. Unfortunately for a few other drivers in the back, multi-car collision most likely. Either that or something else happened. But Trash, Efernazzo, and Blitz have all lost a ton of time for that. Meanwhile, Pyrex might be in danger of losing position here. Napop is gaining, and he does have that tire advantage going for him. Meanwhile, Luke Layton, he's out of the race already? What has happened to Luke Layton? That's going to be a virtual, if not full, safety car. I think he may have gotten oversteer through the final corner. What has happened? What a chaotic start. Well, as long as there's a virtual safety car, let's take a look at the tire strategy. It's going to be a mix of softs and mediums. Let's take a look at the soft runners. Spunk, Viper, Deacon, Coda, Mert, Raccoon, and Luke Layton, who's unfortunately at the race. Everybody else is going to be running on the medium tires, with one outlier being Pyrex on the hard tires. Meanwhile, Trash looks like he just retired in the pits, cutting his losses, I guess. Luke Layton, I think, may have also disconnected. What a start. Well, there's a predictive pit stop strategy. Medium hard or soft medium. Medium hard is definitely possible. But wait. Oh, I guess we're back into some racing. 3 wide for a moment there, as now Pop loses position to Gary and Pyrex. Now Pyrex is going to be under real threat. He's going to have a bunch of drivers behind him who are on much faster tires. You can see Gary is already gaining here. And behind Gary are 2 screaming Alfa Romeos, not Pop and Crispy, who at the moment will have to remain behind. Already though, Spug is pulling the biggest gap that he possibly can. Diego doing his best to make that happen as well, but it looks like Pyrex is keeping even with him, at least partially. Now Diego is pulling away, but not as much as I think he would want to. Meanwhile, Gary was maybe eyeing up a move on Pyrex there on the outside. Pyrex manages to defend here. And Gary's looking for any opportunity he can. Now eyeing up an opportunity at turn 8. It's a little bit risky going that deep on the inside there, but he keeps just fine. Now running through these next few winding turns, a lot of elevation change through here as well. You can see the field is already starting to bunch up here, getting held up by the Haas of Pyrex. Although I don't think it's going to be able to hold them up for much longer. DRS is enabled this lap as it was only a virtual safety car. And all those drivers behind are going to get a massive run down here. Our rear wings should be opening up. Indeed they are. That's going to be a huge run. Gary's going to be able to clear Pyrex. Crispy as well. And Pyrex is going to lose 2 positions down 1 straight, and will probably be in danger of losing many more as Viper maneuvers his way ahead of Not Pop to take 6th place. Now down here, Crispy might get an opportunity to make a move back, but Pyrex looks like he's on a bit of a run. He'll have to remain behind here for the moment. I think it's going to be important for Gary Crispy to quickly pull away. Honestly, I'm unsure of Pyrex's decision to pit for a set of hard tires. Well, not pit, but start on a set of hard tires. I don't think it was the best choice. I think, honestly, the best starting tire was a set of mediums, because you could have that strategic versatility for you. And that's why I think, you know, if you can choose free tire choice, most of the time, I would say start on the mediums. Well, obviously it varies track to track, but for most of them, I think the medium is a great starter. And Gary now takes the fastest lap. He's putting in the pace, starting to pull away from those drivers behind him, and that's not good for Pyrex. If he potentially loses that precious DRS that he has, well, he's going to lose even more positions as Viper, Not Pop, and Deacon are gaining. And those old hard tires, well, not old, but slow hard tires are going to be giving him a very hard time. Actually, we may have a bit of a DRS train starting to form up. You can see how long this train is at the moment. But Not Pop has actually lost a bit of range. That's not good. He's going to be under threat soon enough from the Mercedes of Deacon right behind him. And actually, this is a great scenario for Pyrex at this point. As long as he can keep up and just keep using that DRS, that will be essential for a good stint on the set of hard tires. But if he loses it, that will be very bad for him. And actually, he's starting to lose a bit more time. Meanwhile, looks like we have a yellow flag. Appears to be okay. But Pyrex, he's nearly out of range. He might be losing it soon, but he has it at least for now. That will allow him to gain somewhat, but not as much as I think he was hoping. He's maybe gained about half a tenth maybe, but he's nearly out of DRS range. He is out now as Sully gets past Coda to take 9th. Coda's going to be looking to make the move back on the inside, diving very deep into turn 5. Manages to put his car alongside, perhaps ahead here, and does manage to succeed getting a better run. But Coda will not get DRS here, and Sully's going to use that to pull ahead side by side into turn 5. Looks like a switcheroo here for Coda, perhaps, but he's going to remain behind. And Fernando, meanwhile, gets ahead of Mertman, who, oh my gosh, nearly goes into the back of Fernando there. That was a little bit close for comfort there. Had to get out of the way there for a moment. Oh, well, he has no front wing. Meanwhile, as Coda nearly goes into the back of Sully, I mean, I think we've even clipped his back there for a moment. Meanwhile, Pyrex, well, he's going to be out of DRS range. He's going to have Viper right behind him. Pyrex is definitely going to lose position. But after that, he does have a solid gap to fall back on. But I think Viper is going to be able to complete the job here. You can see Slipstream alone is proving powerful. DRS is going to give him that extra boost he needs to go alongside, clear the Haas to take 5th place. But Pyrex is keeping up behind just fine, at least for the moment. But Not Pop has spun out going through turn 2, I think. That's going to cost him a lot of time. Meanwhile, Pyrex actually managed to make the move back on Viper. This is not good for him. He needs to clear this Haas quickly if he wants to get into the fight with those top few spots. Well, Spunk is maintaining his lead, taking advantage of the softs, doing his best to pull away from those drivers behind him. He's already established a solid gap, but Diego appears to be keeping even in pace. Perhaps might even be gaining a little bit. Yellow flag in Sector 3. It looks like Kuklo has spawned out. Was he trying to enter the pits? Well, he will need to now, with his front wing gone. Diego goes for a spin through turn 1. That is going to cause him a lot of time. Yeah, Blitz is going to lose a lot of time for that. Diego, meanwhile, is going to lose a bit of time. Viper gets ahead of Pyrex once again. But I think Pyrex, I mean, he's going to be in a great position here. Not for long. Oh, Diego's in a very good position. Oh, never mind, he won't be. Gary and Crispy are now right behind him. And he's losing much more time. This is great news for Spunk, though. And great news for Gary, too. He'll be able to clear Diego to take second. Diego's going to be eyeing that move back, but will not get the speed he's looking for on the exit. That inside line is just not very strong. And now, Gary will be able to pull ahead. Well, Gary does have a 3-second time penalty. But looks like Diego is having struggles here. Does he perhaps have damage? Yo, flag in sector 2. That's the Alfa Romeo of Not Pop. Looks like he had a bit of a spin to return 8. In the chat from Googlo. Hello. So, running through. Oh, Blitz has, I think he's retired in the pits. Well, yes, I do believe he has retired in the pits. So now we only have 14 drivers. And Bullet's going to pick up a time penalty now. At the moment, Diego is not in the greatest of positions. Getting stuck behind Gary will not assist him potentially getting this victory. I think Spunk at this rate may be able to carry over. And honestly, at the rate he's going, I think Spunk is going to be pulling a one-stopper, going for a set of mediums onto the end. I think if you make this set of softs last, I'd say 4 more laps. That would be more than enough. You can get a set of mediums, go on to the end, and be just fine. Oh, but it looks like his tires are really starting to fall off. Gary is gaining on him a little. Meanwhile, Pyrex, I mean, for him, he's kind of just sticking with Viper. And that's not the worst place to be in, but instead of hards, he'll probably be able to go on until the end. Well, not until the very end. He'll obviously have to pit, but he can get a set of soft tires. And now be able to make the move. Oh, he's going to have to back off, actually. Meanwhile, Diego gets back ahead of Gary. Will he be able to hold on to it, though? I'm unsure. Diego gets a good exit, but now Gary's going to be getting DRS to give him a hand. It actually won't be enough, but Diego, I think, reacts quickly, just in case Gary attempted a dive. Meanwhile, we have a battle for 9th place going on here. Coda, Raccoon, and Bullet trying to fight for position here. Bullet is going to have to defend for a little while, but at this moment, the soft tires are definitely wearing down. But we're 10 laps in, and so I think in the next 3 laps or so, we'll be seeing many of these drivers going in, getting a set of mediums, and that'll be their only stop they need. I do think if they did pit now for the set of mediums, it would be too early. Meanwhile, Raccoon does manage to make the move past Coda to take 10th place. And it looks like Diego, Gary, and Crispy are pretty much exactly where we left them. Gary just can't find a way past Diego here, and Gary does still have the disadvantage of that 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile, checking in with our race winner, he still has a solid gap going for him, and that's going to be very helpful. We're a third of the way through this race now. It looks like Spunk has pretty much all the advantage he needs. Now, Bob is now going to collect a time penalty. Checking in, Bullet is thus far the only driver to have gotten more than 3 seconds in time penalties. Raccoon goes into the pits. I think it's a little bit early, perhaps. I think if possible, it would have been worth going a couple more laps, maybe. But still not the worst. I think Raccoon is doing this to attempt an undercut. Checking in, looks like Diego's actually starting to close the gap more and more to Spunk. I think this lap he has no choice but to pit or risk losing more time to the cars behind. Oh, looks like Spunk has indeed chosen to go to the pits. I think he probably should have pitted a little bit sooner. But this is going to be his one stop, and Viper, I think he's been out too long. He'll need to pit the next lap. Deacon will need to pit soon as well, but a few of the others have also pitted. Meanwhile, looks like Spunk manages to pull themselves ahead of Fernando to take ninth place. Honestly, for these medium runners, they're probably going to have to go on until about lap 20, perhaps. But Viper, I mean, he needs to go in this lap. Any longer would be fool's errand. And so Viper will indeed make the wise decision of going in. Deegan is probably going to follow suit, make his way to the pits as well. No, he doesn't. He chooses to continue running. I think that was a poor choice. I mean, we're already at the halfway point. He should have pitted earlier. He's just losing more and more time. Now, out comes Viper, and he's gonna attempt to run away with it. Checking in the penalties, looks like they stacked up. That's gonna give Diego a solid advantage. I think it's gonna be between Spunk and Diego for the race win. It all depends on what kind of run Spunk can do on the medium tire right now. Because you know Diego's gonna get a set of softs onto the end. So, the question is, can Spunk pull a solid gap, and will he be able to defend that long? I'm unsure, but one thing's for certain, it's gonna be difficult. So we're now past the halfway point, and looks like Viper did finally pit. Wait, oh wow, they kept going that long. I think that was unwise. I mean, sure, they'll be able to potentially pull an overcut here, but I think that was unwise. Still impressive tire management for him, but you can see he was losing time to Pyrex, who's on old hards. And honestly, I think Pyrex made a miscalculation choosing the hard tire option, because everybody else is running just fine on the mediums. And even now his pace is only keeping relatively even with them. Alright, Crispy is the first of the medium runners to make his way in for a stop. Looks like he's going to be attending an undercut on Gary and Diego. Let's see how that pans out. Although I think Diego and Gary, they're going to wait a little bit and probably pit the next 2 or 3 laps, as we're going to see a lot of these medium runners switch out these mediums for softs. looks like Gary, he's actually closing the gap a bit. Oh, Crispy is on these softs. Let's see what kind of run he can put here. He is gaining a little bit on Spunk, though I think not as much as he would want to be. Spunk is moving very rapidly right now, putting in the work on these soft tires. Sully is going to make his way in to get a set of soft tires. Pyrex, meanwhile, he's just struggling. I think the hard tire was a miscalculation on his part. He's still losing time to those cars in front of him. Oh, Spunk is getting up on his teammate very quickly. I was going to say he might get close enough to get a hold of DRS, but I doubt it. Bullet's going to make his own stop soon enough. So Raccoon is gaining on Pop here. He's going to be looking for an opportunity to make a move. And I think he's going to be able to make it happen soon with the aid of DRS. And he's going to have a few cars behind him as well. Meanwhile, Crispy appears to have the fast lap now. So Crispy is putting in the pace on those soft tires. Meanwhile, Evananza pulls ahead of Coda to take 12th place. Raccoon is having to defend against the Alfa Romeo of Not Pop. Not Pop does manage to get ahead, though. But now DRS is going to prove valuable for Raccoon, as well as Sully. Both are going to be able to pull ahead here, but Sully's going to be stuck behind both cars. He's going to have to remain there for a bit, as Not Pop is continuing to fight tooth and nail here, despite being on these ancient medium tires. He manages to remain ahead. A remarkable defense from Not Pop. Oh, Gary and Diego, they are still running on these mediums. They're gonna have to pit eventually. Crispy throws in another fastest lap as Diego pulls ahead of Raccoon and is going to be running after Not Pop. DRS is going to be very valuable for him here. Those fresh softs compared to those 20 lap old mediums, it's going to be pretty clear he's going to come out on top in this fight. Sully is going to get DRS to give him a hand as well, being able to pull alongside. He's got the whole car ahead now. He's going to be able to take 8th place. Well, Crispy is closing the gap to Spunk. He's going to be able to get a hold of DRS soon. That is not good for Spunk. If Crispy gets ahead, actually, that wouldn't be the worst thing, because Spunk could ride along his DRS and gain even more speed. It really depends on what kind of game Spunk intends to play. Gary is going to take this opportunity to go in, maybe make a little bit of an undercut happen on Diego. Diego is still running on this set of medium tire. And going in, he's going to get that set of soft tires and make his way out now. And coming out now, Gary's going to lose a lot of time, actually, and just guesstimating there, Diego would only be a couple tenths ahead of him, hypothetically. So Diego is going to be losing a bit of time. Fuel flag in Sector 2, that was not Pop. No, not Pop. I think it was Mertman who I think is spun out. Meanwhile, Deacon and Uphob are going middle wheel 3 wide into turn 5. Looks like Deacon is forced to back out here. As Fernando is going to make use of these soft tires to pull ahead of the both of them to take 9th place. Meanwhile, it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for Crispy to make a move. He'll be able to use DRS to throw himself on the outside and clear the Ferrari to take 2nd place. Now you can really see how much of a gap is here. Actually, a 22-second gap is not bad whatsoever. Diego, I think after pitting, he's still going to come out losing a good bit of time, but it's actually not bad at all. Knobhop finally makes his way into the pits to get a fresh set of soft tires. He's going to be losing a lot of positions for it, though. I think he's going to be stuck in kind of a no man's land. It is, unless some of these drivers behind. Oh, never mind. It's going to be Rakuno, I think, is disconnected. Either that or he just got lapped. Oh, Diego will finally make his way in. Let's see where he comes out. The moment Crispy is leading Spunk and Gary. Spunk is struggling on these medium tires to keep up with these fresh soft runners. You can see Crispy softs are much, much older. Diego is slowly but surely making his way out of the pits. It's going to be close as they all come out. Can Diego come out in front? No, he won't. He's going to be behind, stuck in 3rd. He has 8 laps to get past Diego and then Spunk. If he manages to get past Spunk, he will have victory. First thing he has to do, of course, is close that gap and then fight his way through Gary, who is going to fight tooth and nail to hold on to position. And Spunk is honestly, he's in a great position here. So long as he stays within DRS range of Crispy, he'll be able to keep Gary behind, and Gary by proxy will keep Diego behind. Spunk basically has a little bit of a booster in front of him and a shield behind. But if Crispy breaks the DRS range, Spunk will be utterly defenseless. He needs to keep within this range. It will be the only saving grace he has to potentially get victory. Perhaps not, though. Gary is showing a very rapid pace here. Maybe enough to make a move. Oh, he will have enough to make a move to get alongside. Now clear the Ferrari of Spunk. Gary will be able to pull ahead and take 2nd place. Looks like Spunk may have made a poor strategy call, starting on the softs and then the mediums, as Diego is now going to be catching up. He's going to be looking for an opportunity to get through, and I think he's going to be able to make that happen very soon. And we disconnected. Fantastic. How wonderfully ironic. The moment we see the moment we could see the fight for the lead disconnects. Perfect timing. Alright, we're back in. Looks like Spunk has managed to keep Diego behind, at least for the moment. But now Diego's going to be looking for a move here. Spunk slams the door on him, though. Diego's going to remain behind here. Spunk is throwing his Ferrari around, trying to stay within DRS range while keeping Diego behind. It's going to be a very, very difficult task. but if he just keeps going for about 5 more laps, he can get the victory here. Actually, it's going to be more than 5. He's going to have a little over 6 laps. That is going to be very difficult. You can see Diego is keeping up with him very well. Making his way around, Spunk is going to be struggling on the exit, but still gets a solid run. Diego, I think, has gotten a bit of a better one. You can see he's already gaining. He seems to have better straight line speed as well. Spunk is going to get DRS, but it's not going to make a difference. Diego will be able to put himself alongside, now ahead of Spunk to take a hold of 3rd place. So after the time penalties, Diego will be facing victory. Unless, of course, he gets a time penalty of his own. At least, yep, he's going to have to keep it clean through the end of this. But Not Pop goes for a spin around turn 8. He's going to try and recover. In a moment, though, Gary is actually starting to pull away and make a bit of a gap. If Crispy potentially holds up Diego enough, Gary might be able to get a win. Yellow Flag in Sector 1. Oh, this is great news for Spunk. That is going to allow him to get a fresh set of soft tires as the safety car is now triggered. There is a sizable gap behind him, so he'll be able to pit for a fresh set of softs. And I think Spunk will take that opportunity to get a hold of it. And honestly, I do think that is the best call Spunk can make. He's going to have to make that gamble if he wants his victory. And he is going to throw himself immediately into the pits. Diego will choose to stay out. Gary, Crispy, and Spunk all going in. Pyrex checking with their tires. He could choose to stay out, but he will go in. Viper, it would be in his best interest to go in. I think all these drivers are going to go in. Every single one. Diego is going to be at a disadvantage of this start. He chose to stay out. Everybody else is going to be behind him on fresh, soft tires going into the end.